Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. It is episode 75, but before we get to that, please subscribe and like if you're watching this, and also please subscribe if you're listening to this. It is episode 75 of the podcast. Thank you so much for all of the guests that come on. But however, this man is one of my favorite all-time Ninja Warriors, so I had him on for it to be the 75th episode guest. So I got to tell him this. He is an American Ninja Warrior fan favorite. He made to Mount Midoriyama 5 times throughout his career on American Ninja Warrior so far. He has over 10,600 Twitter followers, 38,000 Facebook fans, and 64,200 Instagram followers. He's a research tech and rancher. You may know him as Cowboy Ninja, but he's also known as Lance Pekus.
Thanks for having me on, Jacob. It's an honor, especially to be your 75th podcast interview. So, yeah, I'm excited to take part. Thanks for having me on.
You're so welcome. So, guys, Lance and I met when he was in Kansas City back in 2017 when the show was at Union Station. And I'm going to mention this, guys, I got starstruck by Lance. Got starstruck.
Oh, thanks. So that was a good year for me. So that was a fun one. And I remember doing the interview, and you did great. And yeah, that was a good year. That's the year I finished qualifying city finals and had a good Vegas run as well. So
I was just watching stage 1 before we got on, and it was amazing.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, it's the show's awesome. It's just kind of pushes you every year. It gets harder and harder every year, but as contestants, I feel like we keep stepping up. We're getting better and better. And it's really cool to see these young kids coming in and dominating too. So, being on 9 seasons, I've definitely seen the show evolved, and, you've been around interviewing people for, early on. So you've definitely seen the changes in the athletes and the courses. So.
Absolutely. So it's been 3 years since we last spoke. So how have you grown as an athlete since we were in Kansas City?
Oh, man. Well, I'm a father of 2 young kids, so they're 7 and 5 now. So
no way.
3 years of that. Yeah. That's just that's hectic on its own. Just being a father and raising them, trying to raise them right. But as most parents know, it's like, there's no really guidebooks, there's always advice, but you gotta definitely raise your kids the best of your ability and to their own personalities. It's been a lot of fun. That and since I don't know if when we talked last, me and my wife hadn't quite come out about her MS and the struggles she's had there. So that's been a really cool avenue for both of us to being able to inspire people, especially people with disabilities and stuff like that, to be able to get out and motivate people to keep pushing and keep trying. So that's been a cool thing. And I know my wife's really, got involved with, the MS stuff and trying to just be a good role model for everyone around there. So
please, how's Heather doing, by the way?
She's doing good with, the way the world's going right now. So she still works. She's a high school counselor. So she's kind of in the thick of things. So, the school's been really good about, trying to social distance and, do a lot of online stuff. But man, she's definitely seen a lot, but she's tougher than nails. She pushes hard. She likes to work. She loves her job and, keeps trying to improve any way she can.
Awesome. So please send her our regards and our audience's regards as well.
Definitely.
So what goes through your mind, because this is, you said it before, 9 seasons. So what goes through your mind every time you would prepare to hit the American Ninja Warrior set, no matter what part of the country they're in?
Oh, man. Each stage has got their own difficulties and, qualifying rounds and city finals rounds. You never know what they're going to throw at you. And this year was a blessing in its own. We didn't know if it was going to happen or not. So I was excited just to take part. But, with the limited amount of competitors that came in to compete, they really got to throw some pretty cool stuff at us, some stuff that most people can't train for. And for me, these last few years, I've really had to really intensify my training to try to keep up with a lot of these people that have access to a lot of really cool gyms and facilities. And I'm still kind of scrapping to get stuff together. I'm running around in the snow and working on the ranch and running around in the woods. So doing the best I can with what I have available to me, but I'm not trying to use that as an excuse. I'm trying to use that as maybe motivation. You know, maybe some people have, better training facilities and better opportunities to train. But, I'll use my time accordingly, and I'll, not make excuses. If I need to build an obstacle, I'll build an obstacle on the ranch and try to get it done. So it's been fun.
I remember you did one of this. I remember listening to Matt's commentary because you build one of the spider things.
What was that?
This one of the spider obstacles, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah. So I failed that like 2 years in a row in Vegas. It was the spider jumper. You had to hit a trampoline and wedge yourself between two walls. That kept taking me out. So I used what we had. We had some big, 2-ton straw bales that I, put up with the tractor, and I hit it with the trampoline and practice that. And then 2 years in a row, I was able to get that done. So it's one of those things like Ninja Warrior is going to identify your weaknesses real fast. So you got to be able to, accept that you have weaknesses, and then, work hard to try to mitigate those and try to improve on those.
Awesome. So as you mentioned before, this season American Ninja Warrior is formatted differently due to the coronavirus pandemic. So when the show resumed filming, you had the honor of being one of the top 50 ninjas to bring in 2 additional ninjas to compete for their first time. So first of all, what did it mean to be a team captain, and why? And can you please describe to my audience why you selected your ninjas?
So, like I said, I was just honored that we had a season, and then honored that I got picked, especially, 50 ninjas that of all the people that compete, that's an honor in itself to just be considered in that top 50. This season was about coming together. It was trying to bring people together with no matter, how separated things and polarized things might get, with the atmosphere in our country right now. I think Ninja Warrior and ninjas seem to always come together. We always seem to rally together around a cause, around people. And it's about overcoming obstacles. And, as a nation right now with the pandemic, we're facing one of the biggest obstacles we've had in a long, long time in our country. So I'm just excited to be a part of that, to help inspire people to, overcome, things that aren't quite going right. And being a team captain, I try to pick people that were inspirational, that didn't both my contestants, this was their first year, so they never had the chance to step on the course. So to really be a mentor for them and give them advice, because that's something I can give them is advice from preparing for the show, once they get on the show, how to calm the nerves and stuff like that. So I was hoping I was being a good coach there. I picked Kat Henshin. She's out of Indiana. Her husband also suffers from MS, so we kind of had a bond there. Definitely a lot of things we could talk about on and off the course. And we both inspired each other in different ways. So I was really honored to bring her on to kind of share her story and then help spread that word about MS and MS awareness as well. And she did great for her first time. She went out a lot earlier than I know she could do. I've seen some of her training videos, and kind of helped give her some advice on a few things. And I know she can do a lot better. So I'm hoping she keeps, practicing and comes back next year, hopefully, and shows what she can do. Cause that can be one of the most frustrating things, especially when you're training hard, you're capable, and then you go and you make silly mistakes, or you make a mistake just once the lights are on because you can't concentrate. So, I'm pretty sure she's going to come back stronger and better. That's one thing about ninjas is we're pretty good about taking failure and using that as motivation to improve ourselves and come back as a better person and ninja all around. My next teammate that I brought on was a local Idahoan. He's about 4 hours from me down in Twin Falls, but he had a really cool inspirational story. He started a nonprofit about I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago, quit his job and decided he wanted to build bunk beds for kids in need because he was hearing some of his kids were getting older and they were hearing about kids sleeping on the floor, and he just didn't think that was right. And the more he started researching it, like he realized it wasn't just in his town, it's a nationwide problem. And that's like kind of the message he wanted to spread is like, it's more of a problem than you guys think. And it's some of these things that we don't think about, when kids, have to go to school, do everything they need to, and then they come home to maybe, not the, the best living conditions. If they're not getting a good night's sleep, they're sleeping on the floor. They can't learn and prosper. So he really took that message, and he's done a really cool thing. And I think his nonprofit's now international. They do it all over the country. He's got chapters all over the country that do beds builds. Me and Kat actually got to visit him down in Twin Falls, Idaho, and do a big bed build for him. So it was really cool. We spent the day. We built, I think it was about 180 beds.
Wow.
That they put into storage that they can distribute throughout the year when kids need it. So really honored to bring him on, spread his message, spread good things about him, his nonprofit, and what Ninja is all about is coming together to help people in need and overcome obstacles. So,
and this is why I love the Ninja Warrior community, because I talk a lot of times when I do a lot of reality television coverage. I'm part of so many different communities. American AGT, I love them to death, but like the Big Brother and the Big Brother Challenge communities are a little bit toxic for my liking. But however, Ninja Warrior is one of my top favorite communities I interact with, and it's because of you guys. Because the fans and the athletes inspire the fans, and vice versa.
Yeah, it's cool. There is a lot of toxic stuff on TV nowadays. And they're all entertaining. Some of that stuff's probably more entertaining just because of the drama and stuff. But being part of the Ninja community for 9 years, I kind of came out. I still kind of live in the middle of nowhere. I don't really get grouped up with some of these, but when we get around, it's like we're like one big family. It's really cool, and I think Ninja kind of brings people in that like have a certain personality that are like, we're not afraid to push ourselves. We're not afraid to try things and fail, especially in front of millions of people on TV. And that's really cool. And when, there definitely, we get competitive, and, we have our friends that were like, hey, I got past that obstacle faster. I finished the course faster. There's always that competitiveness, but we're always willing to help each other. Like if someone falls, they're always willing to come back and be like, hey, that obstacle felt a little weird, like give advice. Cause ultimately it's you versus the course. And then this extra stuff's just kind of fun stuff to add on top of it. And I haven't really been a part of any sports community that's truly, inspiring and willing to help anybody that wants to get involved.
Awesome. So I got to talk to you about the qualifiers, because in all honesty, that was a very quick run. And but however, you were the third, according to Matt, and when Matt and Aqua were talking about the summary of the night, you were the third ninja to complete that course of the night. So what goes through your mind every time you hit that buzzer?
There's no feeling like hitting a buzzer. No matter, like, it never gets old. It's always exciting. They got the fog machine going, just accelerating. You always have close calls here and there. So I never take for granted every year that I'm able to get to the top of a warp wall and hit some buzzers. Definitely, I have some buzzers that mean more to me than others, but I definitely enjoy them all. And, I've had a pretty good record in the qualifying rounds at hitting buzzers. I probably need to get better at hitting buzzers in city finals. And I've had a little bit of bad luck the last 2 years. I've actually made it to Vegas. So I definitely have a lot of improvement, and I'm definitely keep pushing. So my goal is to come back and hit as many buzzers as I can, because it is almost addicting. Once you do it once, you want to keep doing it.
I always said, and I said it to and I remember saying this to a tweet to you. I just want that you're going to get to tweet to you and to everyone on Twitter. Is I always said, you were really great. Please come back, because in all honesty, 9 years you've been a part of the ninja community. You're always one of ninjas I always look forward to seeing compete.
Oh, well, thank you. As long as I can stay somewhat relevant and can stay healthy, that's probably the biggest part. 9 years of training, definitely starting to see a little injuries here and there, or a little repetitive stuff that I definitely have to start taking care of myself a little bit better. I definitely have to stretch a lot more. I definitely have to do different types of weight training to help fight muscle imbalance in certain areas. So, my goal is to, keep coming back, test myself every year, see where I can get and see if I can keep improving and keep up with, all these young kids coming in. It hit me a little hard, last year when I was, talking with a bunch of the younger 19-year-olds and, giving them advice and stuff. And then they're like, some of them are like, oh man, we've been watching you since we're 11 and 12 years old. And it, kind of made me scratch my head like, oh man, it's like, has it been that long? Like, have I been doing it that long? I guess I have that, but the math is there.
All righty. But here's the thing, 9 seasons of American Ninja Warrior plus 3 seasons of Team Ninja Warrior. So what have been some of your personal highlights from the Ninja Warrior franchise?
Always that first buzzer you ever hit, especially after putting in for me, season 4, I didn't hit a buzzer at all. Came back season 5, hit my first buzzer ever. I had missed the warp wall season 4. So just getting up that was a great feeling. Season 7 in Kansas City, hitting, having the fastest time in city finals, hitting my only city finals buzzer I've ever hit. That one's a big one for me. And I had Heather, and Grayson in the stands. And that was kind of one of the last times that they've, really was there. Heather was running, being able to carry our kids and stuff like that. So that one meant a lot to me. And then, that year we came out with Heather's MS, my stage 1 run in Vegas was a kind of emotional run for me. That one's always kind of stuck out to me. So those are the 3 that really hit me good. And getting the mega wall the year before too. I would have to put those 4 up with the buzzers and my top buzzers for the last 9 years. So, still hoping to hit the stage 2 buzzer one of these days and keep going on from there. So.
I have my fingers crossed for you for that stage that you're going to get back to Mount Midoriyama. Yep. And I got to say, when you mentioned the run that you did, when you went to Midoriyama in Las Vegas at 2017, that's still, when you mentioned it, I still get chills because I remember watching that and how much emotional I felt for you and for Heather and for the family. Yeah,
no, it's one of those things, and it's kind of weird being on, national TV and putting your story and just putting everything out there. But, it's also kind of cool to be able to look back and, watch that stuff and, go back 2-3 years prior and watch, what was going on and seeing some pictures and videos of your kids. It's definitely something I'm going to cherish going far into the future.
All righty, so you just not only did Ninja Warrior, but you also competed on Spartan's The Ultimate Team Challenge. Now, several of your fellow Ninja Warriors, such as Faisal, Bessie Shabat, Jesse Graff, and Natalie Ninja Duran, have competed on other shows such as Big Brother, The Challenge, and in the Titan Games. Have you thought about competing on other shows? Why or why not?
Right now, it would really depend on the show. Titan would be fun. I think they got a limited number of people that compete, but meeting The Rock would be probably one of the coolest things out of that. But it'd be fun because I am. I wouldn't say I'm a bigger ninja. Like Grant's definitely a bigger ninja than me, but like I definitely have more muscle mass than a lot of ninjas. So it would be fun to see if I could cross over on some of that almost kind of CrossFit style, kind of brute force style stuff. I was also a college wrestler, so I think something like that would be fun. It's just whether I can make it work out with my time frame and my schedules right now. With 2 young kids and a wife with MS right now, it's my scheduling is probably the hardest thing. But I'm always open to opportunities. If they rise or come up, I'm definitely. I enjoy trying new things. Let's put it that way. I might suck at it, but it's fun to get out there and at least try.
I've always pictured you on the challenge for some reason with Najee, with Megan, and with Jesse and Grant. Those are the 5 ninjas I really picture being a part of that show. And you guys would be really good with that.
It'd be fun. I'd love to see some more crossovers, some ninjas. I know in Spartan it was so much fun with running with Kevin Bull and Maggie and Megan and Michelle, and we really did come together. It was one of those really team bonding moments. I enjoyed that different aspect from even Team Ninja moving to that, because you really had to work together and grit through a lot of stuff. So that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm definitely open to opportunities. Just got to kind of take them as they come and see what happens. But yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun to see some more ninja crossovers, to see what some of the ninjas could do on some of these other stuff.
Awesome. So recently you partnered with the National Beef Council. So how has your partnership with them increased awareness regarding healthy lifestyles?
It's been great. Doing a lot of promotions and stuff with the National Beef Council, and just trying to get people to think about their food, where their food, get people to think about where their food's coming from, how it's processed. I don't get mad when people, are asking questions or are putting things down, as long as they're willing to learn about stuff and educate themselves on stuff. So it's been really cool being able to get out and try to get people to, think about eating more whole foods, put away the processed foods and stuff like that. So, beef is what's for dinner's helped me out with that message, a lot. And then, just helping, raise awareness. There's so many, cattle ranchers and farmers, in the U.S. Almost every state in the United States, raises cattle. So, it's really, a lot of different, sizes of operations, everything from people running 10 head to a couple thousand head, and it's really cool to spread that message that and what we're doing environmentally too. I know sometimes beef gets a bad name and a bad message, but since the 1970s we've been very proactive, because we rely on the environment, we rely on our natural resources, so it's something that we need to continue being improving upon. We know there's problems within the industry, but we definitely make some improvements here and there. We've decreased our emissions and water use by 30% since the 1970s. Our cattle herds are actually smaller, but we're producing more beef just because we're getting better at genetics, we're getting better at nutrition and feeding. And there's a lot of science that goes into it. I take a lot of classes with the University of Idaho that put on free clinics here just to help and cattle ranchers with rangeland management and grazing and feeding and how to pick out which replacement heifers and stuff like that. So almost every state's got these programs that go on that really try to help and educate everyone along the whole process. So the more I've gotten involved with the National Beef Council, the more I've been able to help out with a lot of that messaging. So it's been really cool and a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to continuing to kind of grow and improve that message with them.
All right, so I have three final questions for you. So what are your favorite social media platforms? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and why do they stand out?
Yeah. So, Instagram's probably my biggest. I kind of like the visualness, being able to flip through, on Instagram. I like doing videos, and pictures. So, that's been fun. My Facebook's been growing quite a bit lately. So I've been kind of getting back into Facebook. I've never been fully into Facebook, but, definitely getting back. Twitter, I have a hard time with. I like Twitter when it's in person, the show's going, and I can try to interact with people that are right in there watching the show. But outside of when the show's airing, I have a hard time trying to figure out how to interact on Twitter. So I know you're pretty good at Twitter, so maybe you should give me some advice on the Twitter platform a little bit.
I will. We need to. I'll camera. I'll definitely give you some advice. So,
yeah.
All right. So, if you had the opportunity to meet with any fans or athletes that haven't had the opportunity to go on Ninja Warrior but want to compete on it, what advice would you share with them?
Go for it. I actually found out about Ninja Warrior why season 2 was airing. And I almost applied for season 3, but then I put it off. I was like, oh, I need to train. I should do this. I should do that. And in hindsight, I should have just applied for season 3. I probably would have done just fine. I probably would have found out some holes and some techniques to train for going into season 4, and probably would improve that one. So, My advice is if it's something you really want to do, just go for it. Even if you don't feel fully prepared, all you're going to do is get on there, hopefully, and, figure out where you need to make your improvements. Obviously there's lots of gyms nowadays. Almost every state's got some decent training facility. And most of the time, if you find these training facilities, they're ran by people that have been on the show. A lot of times they're big name ninjas, especially if you go to some pretty populated places like Denver and a lot of places on the East Coast. The East Coast is swarmed with really good ninjas that, run really good gyms. Every time I travel, I try to go visit at least some ninja friends and try to visit some of their gyms and stuff. So just get involved. I guarantee you're going to love being able to push yourself. I guarantee you're going to love the community and how everyone comes together. So my advice is just go for it.
Awesome. So where can my audience reach you on social media, and also if they have any questions about beef or any of your training, where on the web, where can they reach you?
Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, I'm at Lance Pekus, LancePekus. So the same across all three. So that makes that pretty easy there. And they can message me. They can also email me at lwpekus@gmail.com. I love to answer questions. If anyone has any questions, even if it's not beef related, if it's just ag related and consumer food related, because I think a lot of people need to, start thinking about where their food's coming from, how their food's processed and stuff like that. So those are always great conversations and topics. And I don't always have the right answers or the perfect answers. And the same thing goes with health, fitness, and nutrition. I think everyone's different. Everyone needs to try and try to figure stuff out. But they're always good discussions to have, and it gets your mind thinking. If you start thinking about it more, you're going to start making the right choices in certain aspects of your life, I think. So across there. I've been a little bit active on TikTok lately. That's also on at lancepekus.com. So I get a little goofy and do some funny videos there, and the kids have fun with that one as well. So meet me on reach me at all those options there.
Alrighty, guys, to download more episodes of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, head over to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. Type in, search Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR podcast. 2020 has been an insane year for the podcast. We've had Brandon Leak, the winner of America's Got Talent, on. We've had Christina Ray, who was third place runner-up from AGT. We also had Big Brother legend Rachel Riley on there. We also had Survivor royalty such as Ethan Zahn and Rob Sesternino. It is all on these podcasts. And also, I just finished doing an interview with Najee Richardson as well, and more to come as well. So really cool. So also, please subscribe to my social media channels, my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter, and YouTube. They're all Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Once again, Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Now, if you want to check out my original interview with Lance, including my interviews with Matt Eisman and Aquar, plus meeting interviews with Joe Moravsky and the Wolfpack Ninja co-founders, Dr. Noah Kaufman and Ian Dory, and the Wolfpack Ninjas visit to New York at New York Open 2019, head over to jakes-shake.com. Once again, it's jakes-shake.com. Lance, thank you so much for being an incredible guest on my 75th podcast episode. You're one of the best ninjas in this sport, and I'm very grateful to call you a friend.
Oh, well, thank you, Jake. It's always great talking with you, and hopefully I can be back on in the future.
All righty, guys. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and have a great one.